sponsored by SF.
Why did you get that?
Did you get that for free?
No?
Of course
You
not.
bought it?
Yes.
Is it the merch club thing?
Yes?
Are they still selling?
No?
Okay, so how do we start?
So we start, we can just say, hey, we're back.
Okay.
Okay.
They're not back. 5 more minutes.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Ecoute Lah podcast for episode number 2. And my name is Lucrèce, and as usual I'm joined by my co-host Justina.
Hi, happy Chinese New Year, happy New Year, happy coming back to campus.
And we have 2 new faces today. Hi Faith.
Okay, so hi everybody. I'm Faith Malgar from the SMIB, or Master of Strategy and Management of International Business, a really long name. And I'm glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Great to have
Hey
you.
everyone, this is Pujith from the Masters in Marketing, Management and Digital program. I'm so excited to be here. And Ecoute Lah to everyone who's watching.
Actually, Pujith is going to join us as a...
A co-host?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Definitely.
From
This
now
is my
on.
debut. Yes.
So keep your eyes on the show. So today we're here to discuss about Imagination Week and in Responsible Innovation
Bootcamp.
Bootcamp.
Okay. So what is Imagination Week?
Well, Imagination Week, it's a week where imagine new things. It's actually made for the Masters in Management program.
And the BBAs.
The BBAs, and sometimes they do something similar with other programs, I guess.
Yeah.
And well, in this week, we're thinking out of the business world. We get different speakers around. I think that from this year it was only Singaporeans, right?
Yes, mainly. And then Caesar was French.
Oh, and Caesar was French, and we would get their insights when they were working in different industries and their experiences, so that we can get a global and different experience from others. And after that, we would work on a topic.
Yes.
This year's topic was
Reimagining the political system in 2050.
And so we will work towards that objective with different workshops with our tutors and different groups.
And the end goal was to create in a group of 5 to 6 students a project in order to solve one of the main issues that is currently happening in the world.
So what about responsible...
The bootcamp.
So essentially the Responsible Innovation Bootcamp is a design thinking camp where we are introduced with the ideas of design thinking, but with the edge of sustainability, inclusion, and all other social causes. While at the end of the day, what we are required to do is we are required to solve our problem. We are all given one problem statement per group, and how do we come up with a solution based on design, based on social point of views, and most importantly, feasibility. So.
Yeah. And just to add to that, it's also each problem statement was given by a company, although not really.
Okay.
So it was kind of imaginary.
Oh, so you had imaginary companies?
Yeah. No, it's real companies, but they're not actually given by the companies. You get? It's like they just assigned a company to a problem statement,
okay.
and then you have to think about the problem in the sense that if this company is doing this, how are they going to go about it? And yeah, so the whole week had its own schedule. First day was introduction, problem statement, just brainstorming. Second day was user interviews, which is really interesting. We can talk about it later. And the third day was... forgot.
Yeah, it was multiple things of similar structure.
Yeah, I just remember 4th and 5th were pitching, so it was practicing how to business pitch. The third one, it's still like creativity.
Yeah,
so
of
it's
course.
similar to Imagination Week camp.
So what do you think are the differences and similarities? Because I think that mostly it's basically the same.
I feel like it's the same overarching theme, but I feel like yours was maybe more structured and maybe more
business related.
Yes, business, because we did not have a workshop about how to pitch. But at the end of the week, we had to pitch our innovations in front of the whole MIM program.
But I think that
So-
the speaker.
Yes, so the TV host Hans gave us some tips about public speaking, but it was not about pitching. It was just about how to
Public
be
speaking.
confident in front of an audience,
Yeah.
which was valuable inside, but you know, it's a bit different when you have to sell your idea to someone.
Mhm. But in the end, we'd all have to come up with some kind of solution
Yes.
to a problem,
Mhm.
and it had to solve like something that we could see that would affect us in the future, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you mentioned it was with the BBA, so were the groups with the between
Oh.
MIM and BBA? or-
No, we were only with MIM student, but we know that the BBA, they have the same concept. They also call it Imagination Week, and I believe they do the same thing as we do, but they are just in groups with other BBAs.
Yeah. Oh, we're not very sure when are they going to have it, or if this year.
I think not in Singapore, but in Sergi, I know for sure that they have it. Yeah,
Mhm.
I honestly think the one big difference is y'all got chocolates.
yeah, that's true.
And we did not.
Yes.
What chocolate?
Yes, Jacqueline Wong. She is.
Jacqueline? No,
Jocelyn, sorry.
Jocelyn.
Sorry, Jocelyn. When she came and she gave us the chocolate that she made. She's a chocolate maker from Singapore.
Yes.
We do not get any form of free food. Thank you very much.
And we also had candy floss. That's
Yeah, we also
Fun.
have
Yes.
of course.
I'm so
Yes.
jealous.
No.
So
All
that's
we
the
got was
difference.
that's the difference.
Oh no, but we stay like from 9 a.m. to 7:30.
Of course,
was
we
the
did
same.
too.
We do.
Yes. And with the lack of free food, it was not fun.
No, but then I guess what I did like about it was the structure. So in the mornings you're not required. That sounds bad, but you attend the lecture, and then there's a speaker usually.
Mhm.
There was one per day. Yes. There was a lady from Metaverse.
Yes.
There was a guy from Grab,
Mm-hmm.
and there was
Another person from an ESG firm.
yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, and then in the afternoons, right after lunch, we're allowed to do our own things. It's just that we're supposed to go back in the evening for a consultation with our facilitator.
Exactly.
Oh.
So it was a very fluid schedule per se. Like as long as you attend the guest speaker sessions, not everybody did attend. You know, like you can attend or you cannot,
Oh, it wasn't mandatory.
but it was mandatory.
Did you attend all?
Yes, I did,
Okay.
thankfully. And then you get to do whatever you want for the rest of the day, right? So it was very free. Everybody did whatever they wanted, and our professor was kind enough to let us even do this virtually, like the counseling session. We could even do it virtually. So it was pretty chill. It was pretty on the low-key side, and our productivity was obviously better because less stress, less format, and
Absolutely.
yet the flow was perfect, the whole thing. So
I feel like this kind of fluid structure is more conducive to actually coming up with imaginative and creative ideas, because I feel like for us, I wouldn't say we were restrained, but it's true that the format and the workshop session, they were very driven. There was a structure that they needed to follow, and it didn't feel very conducive to creativity. That's also why I think most of looking back at the project that we came up with, they're very feasible, but they're maybe not that innovative or creative.
And also, I feel it was just like, okay, so now you have 5 minutes to be creative.
Yeah, be creative.
Be creative
Go
right
ahead.
now. And then 10 minutes after, you have to do the thing that you were creative. And in the 5 minutes it would take us, it would be only us to starting imagining things. And it wasn't even like we came out with an idea, but then 10 minutes after we have to get to the prototype, and it was
Yes.
like too rushed.
So your whole thing was like packed up in like a bunch of minutes, is it?
Yeah, it was like minute this, we have to do this, and then minute after we have to do that. But also we did the speakers in the morning. We usually have the speakers talks in the morning.
In the morning and in the afternoon.
And in the
I think there was
afternoon,
at least 2 or even 3 days where we had 2 talks.
Okay.
So
Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
yeah, and even in the evening we had once the marraine, so the godmother, and when Jocelyn came, it was also in the evening. And when the artist who did the fresque, It was so actually we did, I think we had more speaker talks than you guys,
Okay.
and so maybe that's why our workshops and time to be creative was a bit more
Limited.
restricted.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because on contrary, what we did was we had like specific days to do certain steps of the design thinking process. The first day was, you know, brainstorming, idea generation, and then it was creativity, and then it was bouncing ideas of real users, identifying the problems, and then you come up with the solution, and then go back and pitch it to the users, and then test if the new idea is right, and then come back and redevelop it. So the process was very we had the time, you know, each day was dedicated to one step of the design thinking process. So I think on that scale,
Although just linking it back to what you guys said earlier regarding pitching, you have 5 minutes to be creative and then you have to pitch. Honestly, the most stressful day for me was the fourth day, because it was the day when they told us to make the prototype and also make the presentation, but they only told us the structure that they expected of us on that day. So before that, we had no idea whether there was any expected structure. So I guess you were saying you could have maybe wanted more like free time, and we were on the fourth day, at least I was like, maybe we should have had more structure, you know?
No, but actually, even if they gave us structure, it was like the presentation, you could just do whatever. We had no structure on that. I was like, oh, okay, you have to do a presentation, and we didn't even know which other groups are going to present in the final day.
Oh yes. Yes.
Why?
Yes.
Is it like randomly picked?
So no, we had to vote. Each member of the of our small groups. We were in all the program was divided in class of like I think 30 people, 35.
Just like 5 groups per classroom, I think.
Yeah, and then inside of these 35 people, you were in a small group with 5 different classmates, and you have to come up with a project with them. And yes, so all of your class would vote for what they think is the best project, and then the teacher would vote. But we had a lot of surprises because, for example, my group, we did not expect at all to be picked, and in the end we were picked. And so you had to go talk in front of the amphitheater after lunch when you completely forgot about your project, and they're like, okay, so now it's on, it's yours, and pitch your idea. And so yeah, I think on that note, they should have told us, you know, you were expected to pitch, because there was a lot of preparation to set up the sound, to set up the image. So we all had made slides. Where is the slide? Where's the USB key? What's going on?
Yeah.
So on that note, I think, a bit more structure on that day, that would have been great. But maybe they also wanted to keep the element of surprise to make it more interesting, but I don't know.
But if there's one thing that you guys liked about your week, what would it be?
Chocolate.
I'm so jealous again.
I think it was chocolate, but just like having different people coming to talk to us. Like if it was only different people coming to talk to us and we giving our feedback and like settling down with the new information that we got, I think that would be better. And then the next week, just start with the new creativity, prototypes, and etc. That would be so much better in my opinion. Because actually the speakers and everything they had to offer was very insightful.
Nice. Yeah. And I think for me, maybe the scheduling wasn't right. Because for the MIM, we had almost 2/3 of the cohort that came for the first time in Singapore. And so Imagination Week was their first week. So you are thrown in a group of people that you don't know. Most of them are French, and it's the first time that they have to do something in English, entirely in English. So maybe they were not very comfortable. And when you have to, you know, come up with a project in such a short time span and then selling it to the other students, you need to be confident and you need to be comfortable. And especially the first day, I could feel that my teammate, they were not enjoying themselves as much because of, first of all, the language barrier, but also the jet lag. You just came, you were in a new country, and then on top of that, you have to speak in front of 200 people that you've never met before, and in a new campus that you've never been. So I think that maybe if we have done the Imagination Week, I don't know, at the end of the first month or even in February, I think we would have actually came up with better ideas. Because also when you are asked to be creative and imaginative, you're always going to censor yourself. Like you don't want to say outlandish stuff to people that you never met before. So
and also we just came from our vacations and our holidays, and we were very rusty, and
Yeah.
it was like we're still in that vacation mode. It was very difficult for us to continue like the process of it.
Yeah. So I think just to change the timing, and then I think not only the project would have been better, but we would have had a better time as well.
Yeah. What about you guys?
Okay, I was just personally attacked by the everyone just came from vacation.
Oh.
Because Mim came back on January 4th, so I'm like, okay. No, but actually, on the contrary, for my experience at least, I was very thankful that for my group mates, because even though I've never worked with them before, like there were 2 SMIBs, so one is me and one other guy, and then 3 MMDs who I probably see them on campus, but I don't interact with them. But then on the first week, we were asked to set a goal for ourselves for the week. And then we just made it really simple. We wrote it as, let's just have fun.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so because of that, I felt like the rest of the week was pretty chill, even though it was stressful, but all of us got along pretty well. We were just laughing, and then about the ideas, we were just putting the most outlandish ideas out there. Like, for example, our topic was on how to help the elderly, how to make the elderly feel more included in society.
Same.
Really? And I also got in the top 6.
That's a rising market. That's right.
So, especially in Singapore. So yeah, and then because of that, like we were like putting out ideas like, oh, what if we set up a Bumble for elderly? Like, what if we make them Instagram models? You know, it was just. I feel like at least for my group, it was really fun. So it was fun to work with the MMTs as well, and because they were putting out ideas from their classes that I didn't have, and we were giving it ideas from our classes that they didn't have. So that was pretty cool. So that was the one I liked the most.
Definitely makes sense. For me, it was the user interviews. Because so my topic was how to make HTBs more attractive for millennials. That itself is a big problem. So it's you have to look at so many different things, and so the way we approached it from a very inclusive angle to make it more friendly for, singles or people who do not want to have families, or for unconventional couples like queer couples. So me being queer, I went out on the streets asking for such opinions. I heard answers that I did not expect I would hear, as in good answers.
Oh, okay.
Yes, surprisingly, And I think that was my favorite part, because aside from the whole, we are design thinking, we are being creative, aside from the whole thing, what it showed me was attitudinal shifts in society. Like, I would never have this chance to view it if I did not do those user interviews. So for me...
Did you speak with millennials?
Me? Yes, primarily millennials and younger to older millennials, an entire stretch. We essentially judge people on the street. You look old enough. Let's ask you. You're wearing Crocs. You're not a millennial. So we did the whole thing. But yeah, so if not for those random interviews that we did on the street, I really wouldn't have the idea of, okay, maybe I can have a happy life in Singapore as well.
But just to interrupt, can you give like examples of one question and one interesting answer that you got? I'm so curious.
Okay, so the best part was my favorite question was the fact that I never asked a question. So there was this one group of people. I straight up went and asked them, so what do you think are issues with the HDB allocations? I didn't even bring up the queer idea. I didn't even bring up unconventional families. They straight up go, it's a problem for queer people. And they did this. I was like, okay, but yeah, thank you.
Also, they recognized you and they like automatically thought of that.
It was profiling.
Exactly. We were profiling them, they were profiling us. Yeah, fun. So, that was the most interesting experience. And then my partner and I, we streaked as soon as they left. They were like, ah! They did it. Yeah, so that was my favorite part.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's really cute, actually.
Yeah.
But something that you didn't like? Something that you thought
could be
we could drop the T.
Yeah, drop the T. Okay, first start with the good things and then now the bad things. Okay, so for my team especially, I don't know if it was the same for everyone, but we were kind of under the impression that whatever project we make, especially if you get into the top 6 or whatever, would have more impact or would have, would lead to something.
Uh-huh.
But then after that, we were just basically told that, oh, it was just for this week. We're not really gonna go with it, Especially, so, and I honestly thought there were some projects, even from my class, I have a favorite. It was a mental health app. It was so cool.
So cool.
And it looks
So
like
cool.
Bondi, the new...
Yeah, I have that app.
Yeah, it looks like Bondi, but like for mental health checking. So that was so cool. And I thought that since we had speakers and we had facilitators who were working in incubators and like maybe VC, so we thought there would be something, but it was just like nothing.
That's true.
It's also logical. Like it would only be logical to think that way.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
And especially since ESSEC has
Incubators.
incubators, so I thought it would lead to that. Maybe, oh, really like your project, maybe you could talk to this person. And so it felt not real, and it felt like all the work that you did for 1 week was just for show.
That's true. Like, it makes a lot of sense, actually. So, a good solid 3/4 of the groups, obviously, a lot of our ideas are not feasible. They're very outlandish. You can't it really won't solve anything. But there were a good bunch of people, like this, not the same group, but we had another group that did mental health as well in my class. So good. Like, I would genuinely, they made a digibot for mental health, and all the features they described, the way their ideas, so feasible. That is something that you can do, that I, as a person, when I feel down, I will go to this app and use it for myself. It was such a perfect idea. Where did it go? Nowhere.
Into the
Ocean. Exactly. Another black hole. Gone. It's just, when ideas are that good, they really deserve to be more than just pen and paper. They really deserve to come out of the slide and do some real good. That's the whole point. Responsible Innovation Bootcamp, right? It really would have been nice. I didn't think of it before, but it really would make sense for us to have that.
And even like, okay, I mean, of course you don't do it just for the prize, but then like the prize will honestly
Too little.
but, yeah, but yeah, so it was, I think that it was a pretty good week, and then the end was just kind of disappointing.
Underwhelming.
Like it started well, it
Underwhelming.
did this, and then suddenly just fell.
Yeah. And then like very last thing, the presentations at the end. Yours was in an amphitheater, right?
Yes.
Ours was like in 1C3, which is a very small classroom.
Oh, I know that one.
fine.
Yeah, so
That's tiny.
It's tiny. So you have 40 SMIB students and 60 MMDs. It's like about 100 people. How do you fit everyone in there?
Exactly. So,
I
I think
kind of smells.
ESSEC could have done a better job with the technicalities of it. Like, I didn't even like the fact that so all our speakers, we had 3 speakers each, and we had 3 different rooms. We had each speaker in a different room.
You had to run.
No, so if A, B, C are 3 rooms and the speaker is in room A, B and C would have to listen to it on a Zoom call.
Ah, okay.
What?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
Like the person is already here.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have amphitheaters.
I feel
Yeah.
like
for
the
that.
hardest part for them is to make people come to Singapore. So they're already there, like as
Yeah.
book an amphi.
Exactly. Like, I think that was really not fun for a lot of people. Yeah, my biggest qualm was the lack of. So we had training to design think, but the camp is not innovation bootcamp. It is responsible innovation bootcamp. I think somewhere down the line they forgot that these 100 students here, they do not have the same training. They do not have the same sustainability training, inclusion training, diversity training, sensitization. They don't have any of those. A good solid 3/4 of them do not have these new age training, right? How do you do responsible innovation bootcamp without being responsible in one way or the other? Like, you make an app, you make it friendly for disabled people, you make it friendly for aged population. Like, these are segments that you would have to consider. But I really think all the groups could have done so much more better. Like, even mine, we could have done so much better on the responsible part of it. It was done, of course, but I think there's so much more that we could do.
Yes.
Right. And that could have been achieved if we simply had the same way we had design thinking training. If we had the responsibility training, it could have been achieved. It's not that hard to get there, because the topics were already very responsible. The topics were very social focused, change focused. Like, they were pretty responsible in general.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you're not equipped with the skills, if you're not equipped with the tools to make responsible decisions, it really goes nowhere.
Yeah.
So if they just worked on that a little, it would have been nice.
And I think coming back to my project, so we did work on how to integrate the elderly population into society. And I think one of the reasons why my group came up with a feasible, somewhat good innovation is because our teacher, Mr. Kokfan, he was an elderly gentleman. And so we could interview him and ask him about his daily life in Singapore and what were the pain points, what were the difficulties from him, and what did he want out of any innovation. Was it a service? Was it a product? And I think because of that, because we were able to talk to someone who came from a different background, because it's true that in ESSEC, you know, diversity is one of the values of the school, but it's only diverse to some extent.
Yeah.
So it's always beneficial to have an external point of view, especially once the aim of the week, and it's very ambitious, is to solve a global problem that affects everyone in the world. And I think in ESSEC, we are only so much representative of a very, very small percentage of the population. And so, of course, having a responsible training, that would have been definitely beneficial, for sure.
No, but sorry, but actually just connecting both of your ideas, when you're given a segment that is very hard to target and you're only given a day to do user interviews, it's very hard. Like, for example, for you were able to interview your professor. For us, it felt a little bit intrusive because we went to HDB areas and like looked at like, okay, which old person looks like they will talk with us. Literally, it's just, we just like, you know, tried to be friendly, and we brought someone because a lot of them only speak Mandarin or prefer speaking in Mandarin. So we have one of our group mates like literally do all the interviewing. Then we just like get feedback from her. But it did, even though we got some good insights, it did feel a lot intrusive. Whereas if we already had the contacts beforehand, these people from this center are willing to talk, then that would have been better. And I remember there's this other group, it wasn't from our room, that their segment was the LGBT community. And it's not very, you know,
it really is
Singaporean.
Especially in Singapore.
Yeah.
So that was really hard, and they were like, so how do we do it? Do we just like go out on the street and then
like,
assume
I'm
that
gay.
They're not going to get deported or anything.
So just a thought to connect both of what you said.
I think that also the fact that it's not very linked to, like, our final solutions wasn't very linked to the whole topic in general. It's true that they gave us like a small briefing of what political the word means, but I feel like there was a lack of connection between our solutions and our understanding of the question and the topic to what the topic actually meant.
Yes, that's true.
But on the other side, I think there was an issue also with the post-its. Post-its?
Yeah, the post-its.
Yeah. Like, the whole point of it was to be sustainable and etc. They even didn't allow us to bring plastic bottles. But not the ones that were reusable, just the ones that we bought. Like, we bought the water.
Single-use plastic.
Yeah. And they were like, we can't take pictures of that because you have the water bottle. But then they would make us use post-its. Which didn't make sense since we're all having like computers and everything online, which like would only be a little more effort for the Wi-Fi and etc.
It was similar to you guys, but when we had the creativity workshop, it was like one post-it per idea.
Yeah.
So that was like
They give us a stack of post-its and be like, okay, you can use it however you want, but how are we going to use it? And it was like, draw things. Imagine things. Yeah, they were like, draw things or create a podcast also with the post-it. It wasn't very feasible, to be honest, and I just feel like it was totally the contrary of what sustainability and the whole purpose of the week was supposed to be.
For me, sorry, were you?
No.
Okay. So for me, in my room, I was headed by Professor Martin. He was kind enough, and he straight up told us all, you have post-its, but try not using it because this is about sustainability at the end of the day.
Right.
You know, so nobody in my room used post-its. We just wrote on the
board
directly. So there was and I was very surprised because when I went to the other rooms, there were post-its everywhere.
We would throw out so many post-its. At the end of the day, we would see the whole table full of colorful post-its, and
Yeah.
the floor also with so much post-its that were unnecessary and unuseful. We didn't use any of the ideas that we wrote on the post-its, to be honest.
True. Most of them were trash. Anyway. So. Yes.
But that's the funnel, right? You start with a lot of trash, then you zero in on the one
good,
useful.
one passable. But it's true that I do feel like a missed opportunity for them would have been to just set up a little. I was gonna say booth, but set up a little booth with just some information about the ESSEC incubator in Singapore, because we have Mr. Julien Salnave, I think, who heads the incubator, and it would have been such a good opportunity for him to come, even maybe give a little talk and say, hey, all of the ideas were great. If you guys like your teammates, then just book a call with me and we can maybe develop this idea and make it go to the next step. That would, I think, as you said, is such a missed opportunity.
But well, now that it's all gone, it's gone, and we're free to continue the suffering.
Continue being imaginative and creative. All right, so that was all for us today, guys. Thank you very much once again to tune in on the podcast, and stay tuned for the episode number 3. Stay tuned. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.